What's up, guys? D-Rave here, and we're going to be talking a little bit about in this video about Lamar Jackson's extension or predicted extension. Will the Baltimore Ravens sign him to a long term? How much money do you think he's worth? Please tell me in the comments. Where do you think he should be on this list? And we're going to talk a little bit about what we expect and kind of what we money wise we would pay him and the potential future of Lamar Jackson in Baltimore M&T Bank Stadium. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop into this, and we've got here today a list of the active quarterback contracts in the NFL rated by total value. Of course, you'll see number one on the list is going to be Patrick Mahomes. That's because he signed a 10-year mega deal, even though his average is lower than that of Aaron Rodgers, who you can see on the list sits at number 8. So with that being said, I want to jump into some stats because of Lamar Jackson beginning his rookie season. Of course, we're getting a huge discount on him. But we're going to look at two big stats here for quarterback play in the NFL. First one we're going to look at is completion percentage in the NFL. Now, of course, we're looking just at a single season, but we'll go a little bit more into career with Lamar in just a minute. Of course, Geno Smith actually leading the NFL right now in completion percentage at 71.4. Phenomenal. That's MVP level percentage. Of course, rating, which is going to be our second stat we're going to look at here in just a moment, is going to be another key component of that. Because who cares if you're completing passes left and right if you're not really going anywhere. Geno Smith ranking 1, so top 5 rounding out with Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert. Other than Geno, go one more, keep going a little bit. Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, franchise guys, right? 71.4 down to Jalen at 67.3. So those are all top 10 quarterback, percentages. If we look, Lamar Jackson is down at 25th on the list at a percentage of 62.3%. So right off the rip, we're seeing Lamar's completion percentage is not top 10, not even top 15, not even top 20. Mitch Trubisky's completed more pass percentage. There's a good bit of guys, and a lot of those guys are franchise guys on that list that are completing better. But like we said, completion percentage is kind of just a baseline stat. It doesn't really tell the tale. While, of course, quarterback rating tells a better story. So, of course, quarterback rating, Tua Tagovailoa leading the league at 107.8, right behind him, Geno Smith playing 105.3. So, Geno's truly playing franchise quarterback football this year in that system. Going with your top 5, you got Tua, Geno, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Jimmy Garoppolo. Rounding out the top 10, Joe Burrow, Andy Dalton, Josh Allen, Jared Goff, and Trevor Lawrence. All above 96.6% or higher. So again, we're seeing a lot of those franchise guys with, high QBR numbers. And QBR tells a more well-rounded tale of their play. Looking for Lamar Jackson on the list, you're going to have to drop down to number 16. He is sitting just behind Justin Herbert with a 91.5. Sitting just above Dan Jones and Derek Carr. Jacoby Brissett's even got an 88.9 compared to Lamar's 91.1. So some of the franchise guys that case point, I don't think Kyler Murray was worth the money. But so sitting 16, not really that even in the top 15 there in QBR. So kind of hard to argue for top 5 money when you're not playing top 5. And the QBR tells a more accurate tale in that. Now, of course, we can't act like that's not Greg Roman's fault in essence either, as we just did a live video and we talked about, fire Greg Roman and fire John Harbaugh. But at the same time, Roman was originally brought in to help Lamar along. Now, I feel like Roman should have been let go and someone else should have been brought in to progress Lamar. However, I don't agree with the concept and the schemes, and I think Lamar's, had some issues there. However, my issue with Lamar is those easy completions, and that's why I highlighted completion percentage early on in this video. Because, and hopefully we'll get a video out today or tomorrow. We're going to talk about a little more and hopefully show some of these throws. If if it holds true, I've got to work through 326 or 203 to 326 throws, hopefully in the next few hours tonight. So it's going to be pretty rough here. But hopefully we'll get that up here soon because I want to talk about that. And I love Lamar. And of course, the thing that really complicates things is two parts: guaranteed money for Lamar, and of course his running stats. Because you can't ignore the fact that Lamar Jackson has a tremendous playmaking ability with his feet and his ability to make defenders miss. However, I don't like to rely on that. I love that in a quarterback. I was actually just having a conversation today with a gentleman at Publix. We were out in the parking lot discussing football. He just brought old man just came up, started talking to me. I love it. I love being able to talk football with guys. But and we discussed it that I love a quarterback that can run the ball when it's man defense and backs turn open field. Take it, go off. I love it. I love it, but I don't like to rely on it. I'd like to be able to run zero, have such a good passing game, and my scheme's working so well that my quarterback never has to run because there's bigger and better plays or safer plays. I think we're a little over reliant on Lamar's legs, and the scheme itself is as well. I think taking away some of those concepts would free him up and free his eyes up to quicker and easier throws while still giving him a chance on that deep down accuracy. One of my issues with Lamar too is on these completions, and we're going to highlight this in the next video hopefully. Even though they're completions, they're in bad positions to let his wide receivers run, and I've been a very vocal critic of that. His ball placement often does not allow his wide receiver to run after the catch. And that's not scheme design, that's ball placement and accuracy by the quarterback. Now, you'll catch me every once in a while I'm watching live. I'll be like, bad ball, bad ball. And then, of course, they'll show the replay and I can see better. Oh, okay, that guy, there was a guy, he kind of was trying to throw and keep it away from him. But then you could also argue on a lot of those throws that the ball should have been out a little sooner. The guy was open. And of course, we all know Lamar. For some reason, Tyler Huntley comes in, wide receivers get targets. Lamar comes in, the wide receivers never get the ball. And another problem I found with Greg Roman's offense is it's hard to develop wide receivers when you run a 3 wide receiver set like the least amount in the entire NFL. While, of course, I love our tight ends, Patrick Ricard needs to come off the field every once in a while unless it is like a max protect set. But, of course, that there's a little predictability then at that point. But I would love to see more 3 wide receiver sets and better utilization of those sets. Of course, that's the whole thing with Greg Roman. So with that being said, of course, you got to look a little bit at Lamar Jackson's rushing stats for his career. He's got 4,000 yards in 5 years basically at this point. Of course, 2022 still going on. Not lost 9, had 31 fumbles, only lost 9, so not a terrible high fumble loss rate. Pretty good runs, and that's the problem is, you look at the legs and you're like, he should be paid more because he's carrying an offense. And while I see the legs and I say, that's great, I love that you can do that, but I don't want you to do that. I love that if, our game plan is being destroyed in the 1 in 10 chance, not that it's being destroyed every other week like it is for the Baltimore Ravens. But, God forbid we're in the playoffs and the Chiefs are playing outrageous. They're playing lights out 56-56 football. Lamar Jackson could take off, finally when there is a miscommunication or breakdown. So that's the thing for me. I don't care about the running stats. I don't. I see Lamar Jackson purely as a quarterback. I don't care what you can do with your legs. I love what you can do with your legs, but that's not what I'm paying you for. That's not what I want you to do. That's not what I want your future as a franchise quarterback to be. The ability to run, in my opinion, is great for young quarterbacks while I'm setting the offensive line, while I'm figuring out those big men in the trenches so I can get you set. Baltimore has those big guys. We've had those big guys. We've had pretty good offensive line play. I think last year, was a little hard, but Zeitler's been a great replacement for Marshall Yanda. We've got Linderbaum now. Stanley's coming back, but we've had adequate play from McCary, and while we had Orlando Brown Jr. for a while. So, again, I don't really care about the rushing stats here. I don't care. Lamar Jackson, of course, career completions percentage sitting at 63.7%. Of course, he's sitting this year at 62.3%. So, averaging 1% higher. So if we were to take his career completion percentage and compare it here to the completion percentage of this year at 63.7, he would move up one spot, which would be Josh Allen. Now, this is why I talked about, though, completion percentage only being a partial stat line. While Josh Allen only has, about 1.4% better completions percentage than Lamar, his QBR, of course, is 8th in the league at 97.3. So while, yes, he's not completing as many passes as, some of these other quarterbacks, his passes are more meaningful. And potentially he's putting the ball placement better so that there are yards coming yak. So completion percentage career-wise, not that great. He's actually regressed. His first year, 58.2. 2019, he came out, looking great in 2019, 66.1. Then he regressed to 64.4. 2021, stayed at 64.4. And now he's sitting at 62.3. So, Lamar's not showing me top 15 accuracy. He's not showing me top 15 QBR. And he's trending, technically, completion percentage downwards. And same thing in QBR on ESPN. They run their stats or QBRs and rating. If you look at his QBR, he went from 42.6 in 2018 to 83 in 2019, and then dropping 67.3, 56.8, and right now he's at a 59.2, still sub 67. And not the QBR but the rating, again, not really trending in the right direction in my opinion. He's trending up from 2021, 4 points, but he's still down from 2020 and 2019. So I'm not seeing the correct direction there. With that being said, again, looking at the total contracts here, we've talked about a little bit. I think the Deshaun Watson contract was a total ploy. I really feel like they've got some dirt on him that we don't know, and that they're going to void that contract through personal conduct policy somehow or way. And basically that they're trying to really destroy the market, not only for, Joe Burrow, I think, is due his extension still soon, but Lamar Jackson and all these other young quarterbacks. Basically, hey, let's destroy the market, get rid of our guy, get all our cap money back, and then go get somebody, Can you imagine if Aaron Rodgers went to Cleveland? Like, oh, God, why do I even have to say that? Like, it's just a few states over, man. Like, because Cleveland, especially last year, the talent level on that roster was ridiculous. But of course, no QB, and that's a perfect example. If your QB's not the guy, doesn't matter how good of a team you put around him. Really, I mean, there used to be back in the day, but offense, now that the game is more predicated on offense and it's an offensive game with the penalties and such. So, of course, Josh Allen sitting number 2 on this list, averaging $43 million a year. Got a 6-year, $258 million deal. Now, I want to highlight real quick, Lamar Jackson actually allegedly, according to ESPN, turned down a 5-year, $250 million deal. So if we go back here to our player contracts, $250 would have put him 3rd. And that's above Russ Wilson's most recent contract and Kyler Murray's. So supposedly, that would have put him 3rd behind Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I mean, if I was Lamar, I would have accepted the deal. I think that was more than enough money. I think that's kind of a little higher than he's worth, in my opinion, if you take out his running game. And as you can see here on the list, Deshaun Watson coming out number 5. Dak Prescott with his new 4-year, $160 million deal. Aaron Rodgers, a 3-year deal. They kind of paid too much for him, in my opinion. I feel bad for Aaron Rodgers. I feel like the Packers did him dirty. I feel like the Packers were like, yeah, Aaron, we love you. We want you. Here's the money. We're going to do everything you say. We're going to listen to you. We're going to go out and get you guys. And then, yeah, Sammy Watkins, which now he's back in Baltimore, as we found out today. So, with that 5-year, $250 million would have put him right up there. Is he worth that? Is he worth approximately, as we can see, the 2023 NFL cap predicted about $220 million, making that contract about on average 20% of our salary cap. Now, Lamar Jackson supposedly did not take the deal because about the fully guaranteed money. We offered him $133 million guaranteed. Looking at that across the guaranteed money, I mean, other than Deshaun Watson, and that's more money, guaranteed money, than Josh Allen. Josh Allen's deal was a 6-year deal. Now, that's the thing you have to realize. Patrick Mahomes signed a 10-year mega deal. That money is allocated all across that contract. Bravo, Chiefs. Josh Allen signed a 6-year deal. Again, so the money is split all along that. $43 million average. So 5-year, $250. He was looking for $50 million Aaron Rodgers money, without, in my opinion, showing that play. So, of course, with that being said, we also have a few other quarterbacks coming up here for contract extensions. Specifically, we're going to talk here Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, according to whatever source this is pegged for a 6-year, $263 million contract. 6-year, $263. That puts him just ahead of Josh Allen, which, of course, looking at the stats, he's played that well, in my opinion. I believe Tua Tagovailoa is coming up for one as well. I don't think I pulled his up. But Tua's coming up for one. Of course, Tua's been playing lights out. He's been surrounded by phenomenal talent, just like they did with Josh Allen. You saw the jump and play. Now, people will say Baltimore didn't give Lamar the right tools. I don't agree. I think Rashad Bateman was that guy. Now, the injury is unfortunate. But even when Rashad was out there, Lamar wasn't doing him right. I mean, slant routes, and that's the thing. It was a lot of effort by Rashad. Devin Duvernay had some real highlights, showed he can be that guy if you get the matchup. Never utilized properly. They game planned one game for him, and then he disappeared. I think James Prochet is a Devin Duvernay clone. Never got any playing time. We talked, I don't know if I did my video about it, but Lamar Jackson, I talked about it, I know in some comments, loves wide receivers over 6'1". We had some great undrafted rookie free agents. They're gone. So we have someone who's not really throwing ever the ball to the wide receivers, whether it's scheme or not. He's not throwing there. We gave him great tight ends, great running game. We did the best we could, basically, in my opinion, with what we had and what was available. Maybe we could have drafted one more wide receiver, but, we've had a lot of really great picks, in my opinion. So Jalen Hurts getting that. Joe Burrow pegged at a 6-year, $261 million. Again, 261 puts him just above Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow was in the Super Bowl last year. Joe Burrow has shown why he should be there. Same thing, we got Justin Herbert here pegged at a 6-year, $254 deal, putting him under Josh Allen, actually. And again, Justin Herbert has had a little bit of regression, but played pretty well. If you look at the stats here, he's 15th, so he's ahead of Lamar in QBR, and he's ahead of Lamar, I believe, in percentage too. Maybe not. Oh no, Justin Herbert's actually 5th in completion percentage, so way ahead of Lamar. So great completion percentage, higher QBR than Lamar. So arguably, you could say that Lamar should get just under Justin Herbert money. Now, again, Justin Herbert's getting predicted a 6-year, 254 deal. Again, under Josh Allen. And again, these are 6-year deals, not 5-year deals. So the average on that 6-year 240 is 40 million, not 50 million, which is what Lamar Jackson's been offering. If you go at about $40 million average for the contract, we're looking at money-wise here. Dak Prescott is getting 40 million. Kyle Murray and Deshaun Watson are getting 46 million, which I think is BS. Dak looking better than Lamar. Matthew Stafford getting 40. Derek Carr getting 40. Kirk Cousins getting 35. So average-wise, I mean, somewhere around 40 million sounds about right to me. Somewhere between 30, and Matt Ryan's getting 30 as well. My apologies. So somewhere between Jared Goff's getting 33, Carson Wentz was. Ryan Hannigill's getting 29. Again, playing better than Lamar technically, but do I see him as a franchise guy? Not particularly. Kirk Cousins, same thing, 35. I mean, he's playing pretty good this year, but not a guy for me. Jameis Winston getting 14. And then, of course, you got other guys on here. Let me see. That we don't even have. I don't even know what Geno Smith's getting paid. Jimmy Garoppolo's getting paid nothing. Trevor Lawrence is coming up for an extension as well. So you got a lot of these guys that are playing better than Lamar that are asking for more money, of course. So in my opinion, we're looking about 35 to 40 million for Lamar, in my opinion, value. And maybe you can argue the legs, but again, you're not a running back. What am I paying you for? I'm paying you to be a QB. I understand you might be the most dynamic QB in the league, but the QB position is centered around throwing the ball. The run is the afterthought. The primary focus is throwing the ball. If we wanted to focus on running, we'd be playing wildcat and triple option offenses, which we kind of are. But I don't agree with those offenses. So, with that being said, 40 million. I don't think he's worth what he's asking for right now, which is a hard bullet to bite. I think all those contract extensions, like we talked about, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa. Let's predicting Tua Tagovailoa contract extension. 6-year, 226. Now, of course, that's probably going to go up because 226 would put him under them. So you can probably expect a little closer to what everyone else is getting there. But, yeah, so with that being said, I have some issues with Lamar wanting so much guaranteed money like Deshaun Watson. Because, again, I don't want him to run. I want to change that offense. So, 5-year 250, no, not happening. 5-year 200, 220, okay, I can work with that. I'd even do a 3-year deal. And the thing is, hold on, we got to look up 2023 franchise tag for QB. So the average tag for 2023 is going to be $45.248 million. Now, also, I don't know if this will go up with the possible extensions to these other quarterbacks, because the franchise tag technically is based upon other contracts at your position. So 45 million, okay, you're still kind of getting them at that number, but at the same time, you're potentially sacrificing your future. I have real issue with, and the thing is, I have a strong feeling that Lamar is playing this out as the Kirk Cousins, because he's getting paid top 5 money, and you can continually do that. And as we've seen, even if he misses the season with an injury, Deshaun Watson came out from not playing football and got a massive contract because it was a team like the Browns that are desperate for a franchise quarterback. And there are plenty of teams out there that are desperate for franchise quarterbacks. And especially if they can land the deal without having to really trade for them. Because I believe after, was it 2 years, you can't franchise tag him anymore? So if we franchise tag, then he can literally walk from the team, and the best I'm getting is a third-round pick. So sign Lamar Jackson, 3 to 5 years, average $40 million deal. Not fully guaranteed. I will not fully guarantee that contract. I will not stake my entire franchise's future if you go down. Because, of course, not only do I potentially lose you for your season, I might lose you for part of the next season, as well as, we've seen, especially with knee injuries and stuff like that, serious mechanical issues coming back from it. And we already are seeing, like I've talked about for Lamar, mechanic issues with his footwork in the offense. So with that being said, it's a no-go for me. Like I said, not fully guaranteeing that contract. If we look at the average contracts at 4, let's see, the 5, no, it's Deshaun's. I don't like Kyle or Russell's. Matt Ryan, $30 million average. He got guaranteed $94 million of his $150 million. He got guaranteed a lot of money. Matt Ryan doesn't run the ball, though. Dak Prescott, we'll look at the 4-year deal. $160 million, got guaranteed $95 million of that. That's not too bad. They guaranteed a high percentage of that contract, basically. Let's see, Derek Carr got a 3-year deal, $24 million only. Wow, Derek Carr only got $24 million out of his $120 million. Double that, that's about $50 million on a $240 million contract. We'll just say 50. So somewhere around 50% guaranteed money on a $200 million deal. So 5-year, 200 to 220 with $100 million guaranteed to $120 million guaranteed. I think that's more than a fair deal. Especially based on, as we've shown, the QBR percentage completion and what we've seen out of the actual passing game. Because, again, I love his playmaking ability. However, as we've been vocal critics here in Baltimore, or I'm sorry, not critics, advocates, Lamar Jackson is not a running back. He is a quarterback. I'll defend Lamar to my last breath for that. Because most of those haters are hating for no reason. But I ain't a hater for calling out his numbers and his passing. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I don't particularly like the high risk, high reward of it. Because the lows are low, man. And the highs are roller coasters of up and down. Because, he might be throwing these swing passes in the dirt and not giving his wide receivers a chance to catch or run after the catch. But then he'll take a broken play and make it into a 40-yard bomb on a broken coverage, which, maybe another quarterback might not have been able to roll out and get that ball off. Again, the roller coaster. And what I expected to see out of Lamar Jackson this year was a step up in his mechanics, because it's been a vocal point. Everyone's talked about it. Even his own coaches have talked about it. And I have not seen that progress that I expect to see out of a franchise quarterback that's asking for like top 3 money, basically. Of course, now, do I know the actual inner workings of this deal? Absolutely not. Who am I? But as an outsider looking in, a huge fan. I call myself the #1 fan. I don't care what anyone says, because I truly care about them fixing things and the highs and lows of this team. With that being said, guys, what do you think Lamar Jackson worth? Would you sign into a long-term deal? Do you give him 5-year $250? What do you think Lamar Jackson worth? Leave me something in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think. Also, would you trade Lamar Jackson if You franchise tag Lamar, and a team came calling and offered 3 first-round picks, a second-round pick, a third-round pick, and potentially players. Would you trade Lamar Jackson for the treasure trove of picks? Again, let me know, guys. And thanks for always stopping in. D-Rave out.